Hey, it's me, Monte. Welcome to Tuesday. We're at lunch. I didn't film because yesterday was Monday, and Mondays are just hard right now. We have 26 days left of school, and we are chugging along. So we are on week 3 of Unit 5 in Wonders. It's Tuesday, but I'm starting it today. This week we're going over Whistle for Willie. That's our second story in Wonders. And so I have other Keats books. And so I read this one today. And there's like a little animated storybook on YouTube. And so we listened to it also. And then this is a story that we're going to listen to in our book, or we have in our book. And then I have Goggles. And then I have Peter's Chair also. I think it's at home. So I have those books. So I'm just going to do, I guess, an author study. I'm going to do, his books. And we're going to compare them, which is a first grade standard of comparing adventures in stories. So we read it. They took AR tests on it. All but 2 friends passed it. And so this week it's gummy bears. So everyone got 2 gummy bears. Why? Because from the 120th day of school, a mom brought in 2 big bags of gummy bears, and I still have one, so I need to get through that. When we come back in from lunch, we are going to do worksheet. Our worksheet is Peter, before and after. I use character traits and how their feelings change as our standard of first graders to talk about characters. That's one of our standards. And that's what I use for how we can talk about them. We can talk about how their feelings change throughout the book, and we can also talk about what kind of character they are with their traits. This one's asking how he felt before he went to bed. He was sad because the snowball had melted, and then how he felt after when he woke up in the morning. He was happy because there was a whole new snow and he could have adventures all over again. We haven't gotten there yet, but that's what we're going to do. So we're going to put, he felt because, and then the other one will be the same thing. And so we're going to explain why he felt that way. And there's a little spot for them to draw. So we'll probably draw him in his suit. On the back is just line paper. We're going to do the somebody wanted but then so. And so we're just going to write about the story. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to read Peter's Chair, and then we'll do a worksheet that goes with Peter's Chair, and then we'll compare the 2 stories. And then we'll get to Whistle for Willie, compare them. I made a chart for Gingerbread Man. When we read all the different Gingerbread Man stories, I think I might make a chart for these stories by Keats, so that way we can compare how they're similar, and we'll talk about the characters, and we'll talk about the settings, all the city, and then we'll talk about if there's like a problem or a solution for each one. So I'll probably make a chart to go with that. There was one in here that had like the little drawings of had the covers, and so the kids would cut out the cover and paste it, and then they filled it out, but those aren't the stories that I was using, so I couldn't use it. It was on TPT. I'll try to link it, but I found that yesterday. So we're going to do that when we come back in. We already did math. Math was a spicy one. Math was 2-digit addition with regrouping. So we went over how we draw, and then we circle our 10s. Carry our 10 over to the 10 side, and then we count everything. So we did that with my faster paced group, my group that can do just a little bit more. We did this, and then I showed them just regular regrouping with the 2 numbers, and then I just showed them what regrouping was. And so we did it this way first, and then I showed them regrouping. I called them second grade math. And so that was our lesson today. My other group that needs just a little bit more, we stuck with number bonds. And so we did number bonds yesterday as a review because we've already done it in module 4. So we did number bonds. So we number bond the smaller number out. We got our answer because we know how to do that one. And then we did the same number, but we did it the drawing way. So we drew out our 10s, our 1s, circled 10, brought it over, and then counted everything. And we got the same answer, but I was showing them there was 2 ways to do it. So I looked at my folder, what we're going to do. So we're going to do our phonics, which is going to be the ow sign, the ow sound. This was in there from last year. I don't think I used it because I didn't like how this was, and the kids aren't going to be able to write with pencil. So I'll probably just have them get a dark crayon, and they will go through and we will highlight the color with a light crayon. We'll highlight the sound with a light crayon, and then they will sort it out. I just do sorting on the first day usually, and then I have my cards in there from last year. So I already have my cards printed out. And then today we're going to go over, I think it's called What's That Sound? That's the story we're going to do. So we'll come in, we'll do our phonics lesson, and then we will do our sort and get into centers. Today's Tuesday, so we're going to finish up yesterday's centers that we started, and then we'll get into reading. Reading is, I think it's called What's That Sound? And then we're going to do problem solution. This is also inside their practice book, but I'm going to use this because this one gives them a little bit more space than their practice book. The practice book is like, there's nothing, no lines. And there's no lines. I have like 8 friends that just write big because they no lines. It's a free-for-all. So this one I'm going to use. I'm going to go make a copy of this. And then this is going to go on the back. And so it's going to just be inflectional endings, adding ER, EST. And so we're going to use this. So we'll do this for reading, and then we'll do the endings some other time during the class. And so that's going to be my reading. I already did math. Science, I'm going to look and see what sun things there are. I finished with moon. We already did all the lessons in moon, and so I'm going to go back. So there was 3 lessons in twig for moon, and so I skipped over the other 2 chapters and I went just to the moon one. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at what the sun stuff has, and I know how I have readers for sun and I have like activities for the sun, so I'll look and I'll see what I have for that. So that, writing, reading, look for science, and then we'll go out for PE, tag Tuesday. It's Tuesday, so tag Tuesday today. And then that should be my day. So Tuesday, I'll see you Wednesday. Welcome to after school. It's Wednesday, short day. That meant no PE. I tried to go out for PE. They were like, no, we don't go to PE on Wednesdays. Meant library. But library's closed due to state testing. They're testing in the library. And so they were like, okay, after recess, they were there, their library books ready to, and I was like, sorry guys, there's no library this week and probably next week too because of testing. She throws in emails like, you can come now. And so I was checking all day for that email to say we can come, but she didn't send anything out. So they were like ready for that. We're not doing that. I had slides for some reason to show centers today, and they're like, we don't do centers on Wednesdays. And I was like, you guys just know what's up. So what do we do today? Today we came in, we did our math. I had this, I looked at it, but I didn't give it to the kids. The kids just had a subtraction paper because they need to work on subtraction more. And so they just had a subtraction paper. They sat down, my group with me, they worked on subtraction for 5 minutes, and then we did our work on the back. And so I just got these from lesson 14, and I wrote them down. So for my math with my higher group, my faster paced group, we did 6 problems on the back. We did together, we did, I guess we'll call it regrouping, where they draw out the 10s and the 1s, and then we make a group of 10, and then we scoot it over to the 10s, and then they count everything. And then we did number bonds, and then we did, I call it second grade, which is just the math one on top of the other. We do some regrouping, carry it over. So we did that, and so we did 3 together, and then they did 3 by themselves, and they can pick any way they wanted to do the 3, because as I told them, the standard is that the first graders know different ways or methods to do addition. So that's what we did with that group. My second group, which is a little bit slower pace, we did what we did yesterday. So we had 3 problems. We did one with drawing out and regrouping the 1s. And then on the other side, we did the same math problem, but we did it with number bonds. And so we did the same problem 2 times, but just the 2 different methods, because it still fits in with the multiple ways of doing addition problems. And so we did that for 3 problems. They also had 5 minutes to do subtraction, and then we were done. We didn't do 99 math on Monday, and we didn't do 99 math today. I think they're kind of done with it. So maybe we'll do it on Friday, just like, because we do whole group Friday. So maybe we'll do 99 math on Friday. For reading, we did, I guess we're doing author study, I guess we'll call it. So we did Goggles. Yesterday we did Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. And so we did Goggles today. I read it. And then we did Problem Solution. Yesterday we read it and we wrote like a summary of Snowy Day. I have to get, so here's Snowy Day. I have to get, tomorrow we're going to read Whistle for Willie. It's actually inside our reading book, so we'll read it in our reading book. I have it here, but we'll read it in our reading book, and then we'll do something else with that. So I read today Goggles. We went to lunch. We came back. I found one on YouTube that had music put to it, so we watched it again. And then they took an AR test on it because it was an AR test. This one, they took an AR test on it yesterday as well. And so then they took an AR test on it. After they took an AR test on it, we did this at the carpet. I told them, if you want to come to the carpet, something hard to write on and a pencil. If not, stay in your seat. And then the ones that were in their seat, if they weren't working, I called them to the carpet, like, you need to be on the carpet. So we did Problem Solution. And then we worked on this side, comparing the two stories. And so we did Snowy Day and we did Goggles. Characters, setting, plots, we try to write it in one sentence, like what was it about, and then themes. It's a paper from Kylie Barragan. When I do her read out louds, there's always a paper that goes over moral and then theme. And so we just went through them and decided what the theme was. We couldn't really decide what the theme was for Snowy Day. We just said it was happiness because he was just outside being happy, living his life in the snow. And so we wrote happiness. And then the other one we said it was bravery because as one of the kids pointed out, they stood up to the big kids. Like, even though they were big kids, that the little kids stood up and they were being brave. And so we put bravery there. When we were reading, I had a friend that made a connection. In this book, if you haven't read it, he wants to do a snowball fight with the big kids, but he's too small still, he says, and so he doesn't. And then in this book, the big kids in Goggles, the big kids come and the big kids want to take his goggles. And so one of my friends was like, but what if these big kids are the same as these big kids? And I was like, could it be possible? And they're like, yeah, because they live close to each other. So yeah, it could be possible. So they made the connections between those two books. So that was reading, kinda. We still did our regular reading. So we read What's That Sound? We're in Unit 5, Week 4. And so we read What's That Sound? And when we read What's That Sound, it was steps to solving a problem. And so we wrote our problem. And then we wrote down what they did to try to help themselves that didn't work. And then we wrote down what the answer was. So instead of writing how the book had it, like bullet points, we wrote a sentence using commas in a series. And I had, friends pointing out, like, we're using those because we're making a list. And I was like, right. Took 2 AR tests on oral comprehension today. I have one friend that needs to finish, but we did some math with subtraction, so I could put that in our grade book. So I have 2 tests. I have our subtraction. Phonics is going over the ow sound, and so it's O-U-O-W. So we went over 4-minute phonics today. So they had their whiteboards and they were writing. We had no centers today, so we did 15 minutes ST Lexia time, and then they switched later on in the day, and so they switched whatever they didn't do before. I usually have boys and then girls do one, and then they switch, and that was our day. Like, it was a quick, good Wednesday, good-ish. At the end, when we were doing epic time, because we finished like at 20, and I didn't want to do anything new, so I said, okay, we'll do epic, clean up, sit and do epic. But they could not quiet down. So I set them on the carpet and we had a discussion of how we have 25 days of school left. We need to be working those last 25 days because you need to be ready for 2nd grade. And so they were like, okay, like, we got this. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. Earlier last week, I had a friend ask me what size I was. And I was like, well, sir, we don't ask those questions, but I am a medium, large. And he was like, okay. His mom messaged me, what size are you? And so I was like, I'm a medium. And so she was like, okay. He showed up this morning with a bag. Thank you. I opened the bag. There was an M for Monte. I was like, awesome, I'm putting this on. In the bag was a red shirt. He said, you have overalls. You've worn them before. And I was like, yes. Now this child dresses as Mario at least once a week. Mario, mustache, hat, everything. And so he said, you have overalls. And I said, correct, sir. And so he was like, you're wearing your overalls tomorrow. And the red shirt I gave you. And the mustache, because he put a mustache in the bag. And he says, you are going to be Mario tomorrow. And I'm going to be Mario tomorrow. And we're going to be twins. And I was like, thank you. You figured out what I'm wearing tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to be Mario. I have a hat at home. My older son has a Mario hat. He has gloves as well, so I'm going to be decked out as Mario. I told the rest of the kids, because they were there, I said, if you owe Mario stuff or a red shirt, come dressed up as Mario, because we're going to be Mario decked out tomorrow. I'll try to find some Mario things on TPT. There's a sale. See what you can find. And that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. So I might look a little different, a little weird, but that's what I am, because that's me. So his mom was like, thanks for playing along. And I was like, oh no, thank you. And so that's what we did. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. So I have my outfit picked out. Tomorrow's Thursday. I have 2 days to figure out what I'm going to do for Mother's Day. I usually don't put Happy Mother's Day in it. It's usually like a generic, like you're special, because I don't know what's at home. You know, I don't know if there's a mom at home. Same thing for Father's Day. Father's Day is at the end of our school year. We get out the week of Father's Day. We will get out. I don't put Happy Father's Day. Something generic, because I don't know what's at home. So we'll do some gift that they can give to somebody. But I need to figure that out. Last year, I think it was like coupons. It was like a thing of flowers, and it was a strip that they pulled out, and it was just a card of paper, and it said like 1 free hug, or it said like 1 free kiss, or I'll clean my room. Something like that. I'm going to see what I have saved in my TPT from last year. TPT's having a sale. My cart's full. I have to go see what I want to buy and what I can wait and maybe not buy, or maybe make myself. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home. It's Wednesday. I have to pick up kids from my mother-in-law's and then figure out what's for dinner. It's Mexican Mother's Day. It's May 10th. I don't know if I want to try to pull, it's Mother's Day. I don't have to cook dinner yet. I have to think really quick, because as soon as I get home, it has to be, we're on at the Montelongo house. Tomorrow, I need to start my letters for my friends, because actually, no, I have one more day. Friday we'll have to start, because I have 23. I have a child on my roster that has not shown up since spring break, but he's still on my roster. So I don't know what's up with that. So I have 24 days tomorrow. And so I have to start writing our letters. And it's just like I've said it, generic, dear coloring page, you are a great friend. I write something generic on the board so they can copy it if they don't have anything else to add. So that way there's something, because there's always those kids that don't want to write anything to anybody because they're not friends with them. Well, if you're not friends with them, you're just going to copy what it says on the board. And so if they have a generic thing copied, that's what they have. And then there'll be a little tiny space for them to draw a picture. So we're going to have to do that. I have to figure something out for Mother's Day. The letters, it's 1 a day. So in the beginning of the year, we had letter or writing that goes home. This one will go at the end. It's Thursday, Friday, and then we have 5 weeks of school left. I have to start my letters to students tomorrow. I think there's 24 and a half days of school left tomorrow, and we have 24 students in the class. The beginning of the year, they write to students. And it's very generic. It's very basic, because they're incoming. They're kindergartners when they come in. Now there's going to be a little bit more to it. So they'll write a letter to each friend, so 1 a day. On the board, I will write like a generic, like, Dear Morning Myrtle, like, I hope you have a great summer. It was great having you in first grade. Have a good time in second. They copy that if they can't think of anything. So that way, at least everyone has something from everybody, and they will be able to look at it. They get it the last day of school. I hand it out to everybody. And then I'm going to see what I'm going to do for the cover. Last year, I gave them a little tiny rectangle, and they had to draw themselves on the little tiny rectangle. And then I pasted, I'll have to look for it. I pasted the rectangles around. So that way they had themselves and everybody else, a picture of themselves and everybody else around. And then right here, it just said like month is first grade. So that was my Wednesday. I'm going to close out my vlog. So Tuesday, Wednesday, I have 2 days here. My last ones have been really long, so I'm just going to do 2 days this week. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like my channel, and I'll see you later.